Whether you're a private citizen, an international business leader, or simply someone eager to stay on top of the latest news, this book is a great way to get caught up on the most recent developments in the worlds of international business, tax, politics, and social affairs. Go to morningmusings.com and order your copy today.
Is there a Brexit success? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs, and the answer, unfortunately, is no. Now, as the Brexit is over and we are able to see how the year 2021 was done financially, the sad news is Brexit is as bad as the prior predictions have been. It is a significant increase in customs, logistics, warehousing, also financing. In the same way, companies have less imports into Great Britain, and therefore companies from abroad have less trade volume. Overall, it is a disaster. The volume of the German-British trade, for example, was for the first time in a long time below 100 billion euros. And compared to 2015, the exports to the UK are down 27%. If you look into the future and you poll companies, what do they think about the next coming years, the future is also grim. Companies indicated that they believe that they will have 25 to 50% revenue and that they are not interested to invest anymore in any UK enterprises for the obvious reasons of logistics and customs nightmare. If you ask somebody in the United Kingdom, they are more optimistic, even though the numbers are grim, because they believe with some hydrogen or with some offshore things or with some gigafactory for the automotive industry, they would win and turn the ship around. We don't know what will happen in the future, but for today, I can only say the Brexit goal, which was given out by the government at that time, was to be more independent from the rest of the world, has been reached, but financially, the idea that there are many bilateral or multilateral agreements has not been accomplished. So if you look into the industries in Europe, if you look into the industries in the United Kingdom, the only logical conclusion would be to renegotiate or maybe to talk about a re-entry. Show me your high beams and I tell you how advanced your country is. This could be a little phrase from some kind of Shakespearean story, but the reality is like that. The United States finally allowed the use of modern matrix headlights, setting aside a rule from the year, yes, you may not believe it, 1967. That old rule required that headlights have to have a separate high beam and low beam element. And because of time and change, modern LED lights do not really have to have two separate elements. In 2013, Toyota filed an application to allow that the regulatory battle would lead over adaptive headlights, where the United States would be in line with the rest of the world, where different, multiple, numerous small LED elements and mirrors are there to control the light beam in a more complex way than the binary, yes, no, left, right, full beam, low beam, high beam, or not. The more modern lights used in other parts of the world allows the light to be precisely aimed and illuminating what the driver needs to see without blinding other motorists, pedestrians, or cyclists. So while this technology is out in the United States, it was not allowed because, as I said earlier, it was missing the separate two components. But now it's time to celebrate. Finally, the United States gave in and is up to a modern standard of modern high beams, or shall we call it LED advanced technology for the betterment and for the safety of drivers, pedestrians, and, well, dare even say the whole wide world. So my takeaway is innovation continues, but regulation does not. And it's an ongoing battle about regulatory work versus innovative work. And I believe for us as citizens of this world, it may be beneficial to look into other countries. If technologies are advanced in other countries, why do we not advance this technology in our country? Only because if it's regulatorily not allowed. If you would have had some kind of TTIP or some other global arrangements, things may have been in a different light because cars licensed and permitted in Europe could be just imported to the United States because until now, car manufacturers were required to take out the more advanced European light beams and put in the more boring old-fashioned US-styled beams. Now, Audi, Volkswagen, BMW, and you name it, can celebrate because what's made in Germany can now also be imported. If you ever try an everything bagel, and wait, do I dare to say ice cream? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. Many of you have probably tried it, the everything bagel or the everything bagel spice, which can be used to spice up some of your egg dishes, salads, or you name it. Just the right crunchiness of poppy, sesame, garlic, and onion, or whatever else is the secret recipe of the everything bagel dish. But now Jenny's ice cream offered an everything bagel ice cream. So before you start to get completely grossed out, let's talk about how ice cream tasting is, because yes, there is this very special skill of ice cream tasting. It comes from the very own Jenny's ice cream, and they recommend to focus on 4 different key areas for ice cream testing. One is flavor, which is taste and scent. The second one is texture. How smooth is the ice cream between your tongue and the roof of your mouth? Number 3 is body, the thickness, the chewiness, so to say, essentially everything. And finally, the finish, which means how long does the flavor last in the mouth afterwards. So if you have a garlicky, oniony flavor in your everything bagel ice cream, there may be also a little hint of tangerine, cream, cheese, or buttery taste. The texture appears to be smooth. There is the full body with the full elasticity. It's maybe a little bit chewier than other ice creams, but there's definitely something to chew on, to absorb the thought in a literal speaking from the original ice cream over to the everything bagel ice cream. And finally, the finish. And everybody who tried it will attest to that. The flavor lingers, kind of forever. Even a heavy espresso cannot get the taste away. So in other words, it is a good ice cream. But the question is, do you like it? And now we are talking about different things. But my key takeaway is not whether you like or you don't like ice cream, which has a certain garlic flavor. The question is, how much of creativity went into this creation? So to my fellow entrepreneurs, how are you developing new ideas when you out of a sudden have this bread spread of everything bagel? Would you think about adding it into your ice cream? Or what is the most innovative thing out in your world comparable to the everything bacon? Have you tried to incorporate it into your products? Let me know your thoughts or your strategies. Where do you work? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And this question in the modern time is working from home, working from anywhere, working from the office or from the next coffee shop. Before the pandemic, all was normal. We worked at the same office at the same time. 9 to 5 was necessarily not everybody's dream, but a reality. And then out of a sudden, COVID hit. Employees were scattered by the 4 winds in all different directions. And here we are now. Companies who work on state lines, city lines, have now the situation which tax rules apply. If you work from home in a low tax state, low income tax state, that is, how does this work? If the company headquarters are elsewhere, your main residence may be elsewhere, but you are really working, for example, in Florida, which does not have a state income tax. We all thought the employment back to where it was before will happen, but the reality is we will face some more working from anywhere situations where in some jobs it really doesn't matter where you work as long as you get your job done. So what does it mean from a legal point of view? Who can collect state income taxes? Does it matter where the company is? Does it matter where your residence is? Does it matter where you're registered to vote or where your car is registered? Many questions. But if it comes down to withholding your state income tax, the agreement between all 50 states is for the year 2022, everything is now settled and it needs to be collected where it is worked. So with hybrid scenarios, are we now counting hours, days, weeks, or months where you work? These are legal questions which the future will tell how the US government or the IRS will take a look at this. But how about overtime rules? When there are different overtime compensation rules, and let's say you work in an overtime state where the rules are more favorable than in the home state where you either live, used to live, or where the company is headquartered. Many open legal questions are still relevant in this post-pandemic climate, and at the end, working from anywhere will not go away. No more Bitcoins, please. Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. Wikipedia Foundation just issued this statement. No more Bitcoins, please. Yes, we would like to have your donations because as a foundation, we need your money, but do not pay us in cryptocurrencies at this time. The Wikipedia Foundation is following the lead and the request from authors who had suggested not to accept it anymore. And while you may think this is related to avoid anonymous donors and to make sure that from a KYC, know your customer point of view, everything is clear and transparent, no, it is about global warming. The current budget of Wikipedia is 150 million, and based on the published data, Wikipedia only got about $130,000 from that in cryptocurrencies. So maybe it was a very easy way to make a financial decision when the financial relevance is so unimportant. However, the creators, the writers, the authors of Wikipedia felt it was wrong to use cryptocurrencies as the geo footprint, the ecological footprint, and whatever it takes to generate Bitcoins is just an economic and ecological challenge. Therefore, they did not want to have responsibility anymore. I wonder whether Bitcoin is open for more energy efficient or for more alternative renewable energy focused Bitcoin type, blockchain type currencies. We don't know that, but for now, if you want to pay Wikipedia, pay cash. Yes, we take credit cards.